Hello friends, welcome to yet another session on essay perspectives. The topic for today is a great civilization is not conquered from without until it has destroyed itself from within. Without wasting much time, let's proceed. Friends, as always, I have a personal request. The third edition of my book Ethics, Integrity and Aptitude has unfortunately been pirated. Pirated copies are of very low paper and print quality. I urge all the aspirants to buy original. Original copies can be bought by clicking this, by scanning this QR code or by visiting this URL. Thank you. Friends, as always, this essay also should be first conceptualized as being made of various components and subcomponents. First we would introduce the topic, then we would dwell upon the essence of the topic, then we would discuss the features of civilization, then we would discuss the causes for collapse of civilization from within, then we would ponder upon the points as to how to prevent civilization from collapsing from within. Then we would discuss as to why would collapse of civilization from outside very unlikely. Then we would introduce an element of criticality into the essay when we would try to answer the question, can civilization not be destroyed by outside at all? Then we would conclude. So friends, as soon as I saw this topic, I was reminded of Israel. Perhaps Israel is the classic example that that stands to testify this essay statement actually. So Israel, a land of Jews, has always been subject to repeated invasions. So even from the time dating back to say 700 BC, say 600 BC, 800 BC also, they have faced constant invasions. Those invasions, every invasion has attempted to totally exterminate them, totally outthrow them. So thus the Jewish started migrating to various parts of the world way back in BC itself actually. So thus the repeated invasions from Assyrians, then Babylons, even by Romans, then Arabs, presently from Palestine, it has always gotten invaded. But yet the civilization did not get totally eroded. What can be a better example to prove, to testify the resilience of any civilization than all these Jewish people regrouping themselves, coming back to their homeland and finally setting up their own country called Israel. And finally, since the day the Israel was set up way back in 1948, even till today they have always fought wars, bloody wars, deadliest wars. They have always surrounded by all hostile forces like Egypt, Yemen, Lebanon, Arabs, whatnot. But Palestine, more importantly, Palestine, but whatnot. But finally, that civilization has not gotten eroded. What do you think is the reason? Because the Israeli civilization is very strong from within. Their value systems, their love for their land, their scientific acumen, their intellect. They are always ahead of others actually. So if you can recollect the 7-day war which was fought way back in 1967, when everybody thought that Israel would get exterminated before the Arab forces, but what happened? Within 7 days they were hit back actually. So with superior technology, superior strategy, etc., etc. So Israel is strategically in a very very problematic position. Yet they are economically very strong. Now they are militarily also very strong. So that has, that's the classic example as to the fact that civilization cannot be destroyed from outside. Even if you can take the example of India also, so despite British invasion, etc., the civilization did not get eroded totally, right? So basically that civilization remained because of the internal value systems, etc., correct? So thus friends, with this backdrop, with this introduction, I think it is time for us to understand and delve deeper into the essay statement. Friends, there are 3 key terms or phrases: civilization, destruction from within, destruction from without. First, what is civilization? Civilization is basically a collection of human settlements habitated by individuals sharing common culture, identity, interests, etc., etc., etc. And these human settlements are characterized by superior infrastructure, superior technology, etc., etc. Okay, to put it in other words, it is basically a human settlement habitated by individuals sharing a common identity, characterized by superior technology, superior infrastructure, and these individuals who share common identity are mostly governed by common social systems. So they are a cohesive whole. This is what we call civilization. You think of Harappan civilization. So Harappan civilization mein all those individuals they stayed in particular places, human settlements like Harappa, Mohenjo-daro, Dholavira, etc., etc. And they shared a common identity. Their material life. See, basically there are both hard and soft parts to it. Hard part is characterized by physical infrastructure. Soft part is characterized by their cultural identity and their social norms. Correct? So this is civilization. Correct? You have Indian civilization, Chinese civilization, etc., etc., etc. Don't try to think that civilizations would refer to only those period by Harappa, Mohenjo-daro, a few cities. No, a country can also be equated with a civilization. In India, you can very well say that India is a classic case of a mega civilization with many micro civilizations within its womb. Correct? That's how India is. Unity and diversity. Okay, that is not relevant to us. So that is civilization. Then what is destruction from within? So destruction from within is weakening of the civilization. Okay, before we understand destruction of civilization, we have to first understand what makes a civilization work. Correct? See, the first and foremost thing is institutions. Correct? Or rather, see, okay, let me put it this way. The first and foremost thing is that identity. Okay, everybody would subscribe to a common identity. So we are all Indians, we are all Bangaloreans, we are all Mumbaikars, etc., etc. So when they accept a common identity, they barter their freedom, their resources to a commonly conceptualized institution to govern them in return for security and comforts. Okay, so thus all these people, they have come together and they have finally, they say that they would create some common institutions which you can call government, which you can call council, which you can call municipal corporations, which you can call panchayat, whatever, at whatever level. So they would barter their freedom, they would barter their rights, they would barter their resources in return for security. That okay, this is the institution, so for this institution I am contributing my resources in terms of tax. This is the institution to which I am contributing my rights, in terms of agreeing to be abiding by the norms, rules framed by that institution. In return, I am expecting this institution to protect me, to secure me from some other forces, and also not just protecting me, but also provide me with the requisite amenities that would enable me to lead a happy, peaceful life. Correct? So this is, so you have a common identity, then you create common institutions. So this, the strength of this institution to bring economic riches. Oh, correct, right? So basically the institution would be able to give you better amenities, better services only if it has adequate resources. So it should have the ability to create resources. So how would it create resources? Basically by utilizing the services, sacrifices, abilities, acumen of all the individuals, right? So thus these institutions would come up with all the policies for wealth creation. Okay, and finally they also want to strengthen their security system so that nobody can creep in. Correct? So here thus the strength of these institutions, The strength of the commitment of these individuals to abide by the norms set by the institution, the conviction and the abilities of these individuals to contribute to the progress of the community as a whole is what decides the strength of any civilization. If everybody, as in the case of Israel for that matter, if everyone's heart beats for their land with true patriotism, then they would be ready to make any sacrifices. Correct? They would be ready to take any risk. They would be ready to be as entrepreneurial as possible. So when you have such people who are very committed, very knowledgeable, very intelligent, having entrepreneurial spirit, then automatically that civilization has greater wealth creation. Finally, with that wealth, that civilization can provide better resources, at the same time can invest heavily to secure that civilization or community from external onslaught. Correct? So this is what has determined the continuation or success of the civilization. Basically the quality of individuals, correct, right? So thus, if this quality gets compromised, that is what we call destruction from within. So that means people within who make up that civilization would not continue to contribute for the development of the civilization. They would try to get hand in glove with some external forces for bringing this civilization down. So they don't work hard, they just become lazy, they just become complacent, they don't try to upgrade their knowledge, they don't try to enhance their skills, they don't try to invest money, they don't try to create more wealth for themselves, they just want to have relaxed life. Then perhaps that would lead to then that would weaken the institution, which in turn would lead to the collapse of the civilization. So this is what I call destruction from within. Then what is destruction from without? So destruction from without is just some external factor that can be an external human group or a natural aspect or natural force like calamity trying to come and wipe out everything. That means to kill the people or to make them to get them subordinated to a foreign force. So take over the resources, destroy everything. So this is what we call destruction from without. Correct? So whether weakening of the institution leading to the collapse is destruction from within, external forces just trying to weaken the system's values, etc. deliberately is without. Okay. When you bring all these things together, then this essay statement would mean that normally the civilizations collapse not because of any external invasion, but because of breaking of the institutions which are very well a part of the civilization. So internally, if the civilization is strong, no external force can weaken it. Now, what are the features of civilizations? I'll just run through, friends. First is value system. Every civilization is defined by some value systems. If you take India, respect to elders is the cardinal principle of our civilization. If you take Israel, patriotism is their value system. And hierarchy is a value system in India, but not so anti-hierarchical, more democratic values is the value system for Israel. So thus, if being cautious is the value system for India, being adventurous is the value system of America. So thus, these are the value systems. So the values basically means the aspects to which an individual or a society gives importance to, that is value. Okay. So thus every civilization has some value systems. Depending upon whether those value systems are conducive for development or for conducive for advancement, so decides whether the civilization decides the direction in which civilization is proceeding. Next is institutions, governance and otherwise. So that means second characteristic is every civilization is characterized by many institutions. So such institutions can be broadly divided into governance institutions, then other than governance institutions. What are these governance institutions? Governance institutions imply governments basically. As I said, central government, state government, cantonment boards, then city councils, etc., etc., panchayats, etc., etc. So they are governing systems, institutions. Second thing is otherwise. So there are some extra governmental institutions also. I mean, or I would say non-governmental institutions like NGOs, civil societies, informal gatherings, groups, etc., etc. So every civilization is necessarily defined by existence of every type of institutions. Next, synergistic collaborations. See, a civilization is characterized by, is inhabited by individuals of various skill sets, individuals involving in various vocations or various activities. Basically, by virtue of coming under the umbrella of one civilization, they try to collaborate with each other to generate synergies for leading to the development of civilization per se. Like the simple example is the collaboration between farmers and traders. Correct? And this is present in every civilization. Farmers grow crops, traders would buy those crops and would act as the distribution channel to take crops from farmers to end consumer. Correct? So thus everybody does their job. Scientists who try to come up with educate the farmers to go for the best farming practices. So thus every group, every individual works with every other individual or other stakeholder to create synergies leading to the advancement of civilization. Then sense of pride or sense of belongingness, sense of identity. So everybody would their heart beats for that civilization. They think that they belong to this civilization. So basically, we Indians, we are Indians. We get attached emotionally to country called India or civilization called India. Same with everybody. So that is a very cardinal principle. If everybody does not have a sense of belongingness to the place or to the community, then the concept of civilization does not arise only. Then advanced technology. See, mostly civilization is an advanced version. See, Egyptian civilization, Mesopotamian civilization, Harappan civilization, why do you call them civilization? See, they are not mere human settlements living in an haphazard way or in a primitive way. See, the earth has been inhabited from thousands of years or even millions of years for that matter, correct? But then every place where somebody stayed on some tree, some hut, etc. should have been civilization. But everything is not civilization. It is always characterized by advanced technology, advanced infrastructure. If some person, or if some 3-4 persons or 3-4 families, if they just live on some hilltop, doing some basic primitive agriculture and eating whatever they get and staying there, they cannot, such small habitations or such small settlements cannot be called civilization. Civilization is an organized thing. Somebody has set up a town, planned a town, brought everybody under one umbrella. That is civilization, correct? So that means some advanced technology should be there, correct? So it's not a primitive thing, it's slightly an advanced version. That's why individuals, I mean Harappan, Mohenjo-daro, Harappan civilization, Egyptian civilization, not that only individuals of those times stayed only in those places, there were no human settlements otherwise. But these were the settlements where these individuals had achieved above average advancement in technology. They led a more sophisticated life than their counterparts anywhere else. So that is the important characteristic. Then economic system. See, every civilization is characterized by an economic system. There are production systems, there are consumption systems, there are distribution systems, etc., etc. They all collaborate to create an economy. So they create wealth. Then generation to generation knowledge transfer. This is important. So in civilizations, what happens? There is a systematic attempt for knowledge transfer. There is a systematic effort for knowledge dissemination. How? Through schools, through colleges, through journals, through blogs, through books, through literature, etc., etc. So civilization seeks to preserve its knowledge and seeks to hand over the knowledge, the inventions, discoveries to the next to the posterity to take knowledge forward. Otherwise, if Galileo had discovered something and had just disappeared without handing over the knowledge to others, perhaps we don't know, we could have been even backward. Charles Babbage invented computing. That knowledge has been continuously passed on from generation to generation. So that knowledge is perfected, knowledge is curated, that knowledge is reinforced to churn out continuous scientific advancements. So knowledge transfer is an extremely important feature. Then what are the reasons or causes for collapse of civilization from within? First is corruption, friends. This is very bad. So if an institution that is the heart that is at the heart of every civilization gets corrupt, then that institution starts functioning for realization of selfish gains rather than realization of objectives which are in the best interest of everybody. Correct? So thus then with this corruption, the mistrust develops between that institution and the individuals, leading to civil wars. Then the policies, orders, etc. given by the government are not accepted by or not obeyed by the citizens, finally leading to breakdown of law and order, and that's how civilizations collapse. So corruption is the single most thing that can start the rotting of any civilization. Second, loss of sense of belongingness. See friends, so many times what happens, if that civilization is, if everybody who is a part of that civilization is made to feel that their civilization is inferior, and if they start shunning their civilization, start looking up to other civilizations, then naturally that civilization would have its own slow death. No need for any external invasion or anything. So this is the whole reason, whole purpose why the westernization was vehemently opposed by many individuals. Correct? English education was not accepted. And also friends, there is a famous Macaulay's letter that gets circulated in the internet. Of course, not knowing the veracity or validity of it, at least what is the essence? The essence of the letter is that so the very spirit of Indian civilization has to be broken so that they would act as slaves rather than as masters. So that means so if you lose that sense of belongingness, it is very difficult for your civilization to advance. Then infighting. If the various groups if the civilization gets splintered into various groups, and then they start fighting for power, etc., then it would be very easy for somebody to come and capture. So thus we become vulnerable and prey to other external forces. The best example is again in India. So the lack of unity. So the British could continue to rule India only because all the princely states in India did not come together to fight them out. There were always some princely states which supported the British. There were always some Rajas or whoever, they took the support of British to fight their internal enemy, so their neighborhood. So that's how British could make inroads into India and could rule India for these so long. Correct? So the infighting is another problematic thing. Next, breaking of institutions. So I told you so long as the institution is strong, so long as the institution is able to enforce its mandate, so long as the individuals are able have trust in that institution and would raise to occasion to the call of the institution, then that institution is very healthy. But if the institution starts breaking, so that can be through coup d'etats. So that can be through infighting, so lack of trust in the government, etc., failure to give clean, neat governance. Then nothing can help that civilization. all said and done, friends, Indian civilization is advancing because the institution, a governance institution in India has not broken even after 75 years. Whatever may be the thing, every successive government has always attempted to do something good to the people. Finally, so many social security schemes. So finally, government has percolated to each and every aspect in every individual. Correct? So that's institutions have not been broken. If institutions are broken, it's easy for collapse of civilization. And then disregarding nature, unsustainable living. Another thing is, see, the civilization can flourish if it embraces a sustainable way of living. Correct? If the civilization goes mindless and they start regarding their material living and totally disregarding the sustainable living, then that would be like the civilization would automatically crumble. If the civilization uses all the material resources, and finally they would be left with no material resources for further development, right? So thus there would be a point when that civilization would end up with no water, no food, no soil, no minerals, etc., etc., if mindless exploitation is resorted to. So thus another way in which the civilization gets weakened is by disregarding the nature. Last one is complacency. This is perhaps the most important thing actually. If citizens, see, finally every civilization is defined not by any building, not by anything, but by its individuals, it's the citizens, right? If those citizens become complacent, if they just become dependent, then there is absolutely no scope. Every citizen is just a prey on the government, prey on the civilization, but no one is. There would be only takers, but not givers, not contributors. So that would automatically, it is very easy for anybody to come and take over. Friends, after understanding the reasons for collapse of civilization from within, it is time for us to understand as to how to prevent collapsing of civilization from within. The first thing is by instilling a strong sense of patriotism. See, the one reason why Jewish people from all across the world, they raise to the occasion to serve the cause of Israel is because they have that sense of patriotism, which is very, very important. So then, hardworking. So that spirit of hard work, spirit of smart work, spirit of enterprise is extremely important. Then only the country becomes economically strong, the civilization becomes economically strong. It would create dependencies, or it would be dependent upon by other factors. So that would lead to the flourishing of the civilization. That would create resources, that would create wealth. So that hard work should be instilled. Then people would be ready to make sacrifices also. Then nature of altruism. As all of us are aware, so we should be a little philanthropic also. Everything cannot be taken care of by government. If individuals start taking care of other individuals, a person who is well off is ready to take care of others through NGOs, through donations, through philanthropies, etc., etc. That civilization is a very vibrant civilization. More than anything, then there are many social connections that get created. That sense of belongingness gets cemented. That unity gets cemented, which is a very powerful, invisible tool that would push the civilization ahead. Then community spirit. See, again, community spirit is the sense of living together. So when people should not be selfish. They should relish in the presence of community. Correct? That is very important. So community spirit also should be promoted. Then lastly, entrepreneurial spirit. Friends, if entrepreneurial spirit is there, then the country's military, if every soldier is has an entrepreneurial spirit, then he would start taking many out-of-the-box decisions, out-of-the-box solutions would get created. If every citizen has an entrepreneurial spirit, then he would go to any extent to set up an enterprise, to bring resources, to bring investments that would fuel the growth of civilization, economy. So thus all these things would contribute to strengthen the civilization from within so that it would not start rotting. So after understanding the how would the civilization collapse because from within, it is time to also understand why is collapse from outside is unlikely. The first thing is, the reason is dependency on this civilization. See, if the given civilization is extremely vibrant, extremely strong, there would be many other civilizations, many other groups, countries, whatever, who are dependent on this civilization. So if one external force comes to exterminate or launches an invasion against this civilization, because keeping that civilization intact is not merely in the interest of that civilization itself, is not merely in the interest of that civilization only, it is in the collective interest of many other civilizations. So they would all come and try to help the civilization to fight out the external agent. Then hard to replicate skills. See, that strong civilization with strong value systems, etc., would definitely have created very good educational institutions, very good ecosystem of innovation, etc. So thus, but the individuals are so much sought after. Their skill sets, their technical prowess may be unmatchable, may be unmatched. Then totally exterminating that individual, that community is not in the best interest of anybody. So at least for the sake of those skills, they will not be terminated. Correct? Even if somebody comes, these individuals with the technical prowess would fight back. And then power of unity. Correct? Because such civilizations which are governed by strong institutions, strong internal values, have so much unity. All their diaspora would come to help. Everybody would come to their help. So united we stand, divided we fall. You cannot take any united force head on. So perhaps that was the reason why British followed this divide and rule policy. It was easy to handle divided groups rather than dealing confederated or federated groups. Correct? Then playing phoenix, rising spirit. See, even if some external force actually launches an invasion, tries to exterminate that civilization has this rising burning spirit to rise from ashes like phoenix. So how much, the entire world attempted so strongly to exterminate Jews, right? Through gas chambers, etc. But what happened? Finally they rose like phoenix. So such civilizations, even if you exterminate them, but they rise from ashes. Correct? So then let us try to introduce an element of criticality into this and try to answer this question: can civilization not be destroyed by outside at all? Not like that. It can be destroyed from outside. One major reason which I have not mentioned in the PPT is natural forces. Sometimes natural forces could spell real disaster, like floods, like dwindling of resources, etc. Like sometimes even some epidemic, etc. So such things are beyond the control of anybody. Correct? So such natural forces, nobody is above nature. But however, and also sometimes very strong. So, and every civilization is defined by varied levels of strength. Some civilizations are weak. Some they are really weak. So such civilizations may, even if their institutions are stronger, maybe they are not endowed with requisite resources by nature to withstand outside onslaughts. So in some such rare scenarios, so it is likely that some external forces like nature or some human invasion can wipe out some civilizations, but it's rarity. Okay, now it is time for conclusion, friends. After this elaborate discussion, we can safely conclude that every civilization, the character or quality of every civilization is defined by its people, their qualities, their abilities, and the institutional strength that is and the strong institutions that are created by these people. So long as these strong institutions and strong people are there, it is very difficult to wipe out that civilization. However, in extreme cases like natural disasters and some scenarios, such possibilities cannot be ruled out. But it is in the best interest of everybody to nurture good community leading to the flourishing of civilizations. Okay friends, let's meet next week with another topic. Thank you.